Hi, I'm Grace Loope. This is my capstone. So when I was deciding what to do for my capstone, I went through 3 ideas. First, my friend and I were going to start a mentoring program for the middle schoolers. That fell through. So another friend and I are going to make a sports website. I really wanted to incorporate photography into my capstone. So I was going to take pictures at sporting events on CAK's campus, and she was going to make a website and post game updates and player profiles. And then that fell through. But the basketball team mom asked me if I would take pictures for the team and make their end of the year video. And so that was my capstone for a while. And then one day in Bible class, Miss Anu approached me with an idea. One of the, at the time, 5th grade girls, but they were going into middle school, one of the moms asked her if she would be willing to lead a Bible study over the summer for the moms and the girls in that grade. And so she asked if I would help her in that and help lead the 6th grade girls while she led the moms, and also help communicate between her and the other junior and senior girls that were helping to lead the Bible study. And then my responsibilities also included organizing team building games for our weekly meetings and occasionally coming up with lesson plans out of the book that we were doing together. So that's the first part of my capstone. The second part of the capstone included organizing monthly service projects that the middle and high schoolers could be involved in on CAK's campus. And so the idea for that came when we were, it was our last night of the Montreal mission trip, and people were sharing their stories from the week and what things they were going to take home with them. And multiple people said that we could do these kind of service projects that we were doing in Montreal. We could do them also in Knoxville, but we didn't. And so I said, well, what if we did? And so the next week at Bible study, I talked to Miss New about organizing projects, and that's when the second part of my capstone started. So going into this, some of my concerns and expectations, I was worried that the girls wouldn't respect me enough to care about what I had to say. And then I was also worried that with the Bible study and also with the service projects, I wouldn't have good participation. With the transition from the Bible study from summer to the school year, I had higher expectations than I should have. And also with participation for service projects. At first, my expectations were higher than they should have been. And then they kind of adjusted throughout the process. As you can see, we had good participation by the second project after we kind of figured out some communication stuff. So the personal impact from these projects, I've formed really good relationships with the 6th grade girls. They're really sweet and they're really fun, and as I've gotten to know them more, I've learned that they're a lot more insightful than I expected, and it's been really cool to see them open up as we progress through our study. It's funny, when I ask them for prayer requests, you can really see their childlike faith, because they'll list everything from their friend's grandparents dying to the cat they saw on the side of the road to all the cars they passed on the way to school that day. And so it's kind of refreshing, because it's a good reminder that they really do notice things and that they really do care about every little thing, which is really cool to see. I've also seen growth in participation. It looks a little different with each part of the capstone. With the Bible study, the participation has grown more in depth than in numbers, because with the transition from doing it over the summer to in the school year, there are a lot of people that have commitments or they can't get to school on Wednesday mornings, which is when we meet. But the ones that are able to come each week, I've gotten to know more personally, which has been really cool. And with the service projects, the growth has been more in numbers of people who will participate. And then I've also seen the unity between the schools grow. So you have senior girls serving the 6th grade girls every other Wednesday morning with Bible study and just time of fellowship. And then with the service projects, it was really important to me that we increase the unity on CAK's campus first, and then increase CAK's community with the greater Knoxville community. And so our first project was done on CAK's campus. I asked Michael with the maintenance crew what he would have us do, and he wanted us to scoop the mulch back into the playground. And we had communication issues with that, and it was not very well planned on my part, so there were not very many students, but I had several of my 6th grade girls from Bible study that came that week. And then with the Operation Christmas Child, we had figured out some of the communication issues, and so we had a lot more participation from that project. And then it was also cool while we were there, because You didn't see like a group of middle schoolers on one side and high schoolers on the other side of the room, but everyone was working together, which was really cool to see. There are several lessons that I have learned. First, you don't always see results immediately, if you see direct results at all. Especially with Operation Christmas Child, we packed all these boxes and we gathered all these supplies, but we don't get to meet the kids who get the boxes, which can be kind of discouraging, but you just have to trust that like they will appreciate what you've done. Another lesson I've learned is the importance of communication. When the first service project didn't quite go as I had hoped, one of the 6th grade moms told me, she's like, even if you think you've communicated enough, like communicate more, because parents get so much communication that it's really easy to skip over something. So don't be afraid to over communicate. The third lesson that I learned was that all your expectations will not be met, and that's just a fact of life, and you have to accept it and move on. And then I've also learned the importance of the 3 Ps, prayer, patience, and perseverance. You can't know and follow God's will or God's call if you don't spend time with Him in prayer daily. It is also very important to be patient. God will follow through with what He's asked you to do, and He does have a plan, but sometimes you don't get that right at the beginning. You don't see the full plan. So you have to have patience and trust that He will eventually reveal to you His plan. And then you also have to have perseverance, which kind of ties in with patience, just remembering that God does have a plan and that He will be faithful. For example, if I had not continued with the service projects after the first one didn't go as I had planned, then we wouldn't have continued with that, and the Operation Christmas Child would not have happened, which was a really cool project that went honestly better than I expected. There are a few changes that I would make. I would make more of a concentrated effort to get to know the girls more personally, even over the summer, because so many of them aren't able to meet on Wednesday mornings, that I feel like I've missed out on a few more personal relationships that I could have made over the summer. And then I would also make more of a concentrated effort in asking people to serve alongside me with the service projects and asking people to step up next to me and work with me in that. I would also wish that I had planned more out-of-school activities or out-of-Bible study activities with the girls, just to get to know them in a little bit of a different aspect. It's been really cool to get to know them in the Bible study aspect, but I would also like to get to know them in more fun activities. And then I would also start out with stronger communication instead of realizing that halfway through the semester. I think that would have helped a lot with planning events for the middle school girls and the first service project, like I've mentioned. So my future plans, I'm not necessarily following my capstone in that I'm not necessarily going into middle school ministry or even a ministry field in general. I'm planning on going into pediatric physical therapy, which would include my love of medicine and my love of kids. And it would also make it easier to have a family than if I went on to become a doctor. But I've already heard of some service opportunities that come along with physical therapy, and so I really look forward to seeing what opportunities are available with that. Thank you.